Welcome to Toffee TV. We are blessed with a new... someone making a debut on Toffee TV. Kira has come in, Kira Knox, she's come in to have a little chat about the Everton women's side, who've started the season quite well. And obviously, Kira, there is a bit of a buzz about women's football at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah.
In the summer, we saw England obviously win the Euros, which was a massive moment for the game. So how important do you think that moment is?
Oh, it's gonna be massive for the women's game. Obviously, like the captain Leah Williamson, she's Arsenal's defence, and there's quite a lot of WSL players in the Lionesses team. So we're hoping that will attract quite a lot of attention to the women's game, especially our league.
Is this something you've always followed? I mean, have you obviously you're Evertonian, but did you start with the men's team and then sort of start watching the women's team as things have grown in the last few years?
Well, yeah, I went to my first game last year against Manchester United. I think we drew 1-1, which was quite good at the time, obviously, because we didn't do quite well last season. But I got through the men's game. And then I saw the tickets and I was like, I really want to go. And I went along and... Yeah,
because obviously Everton play at Walton Hall Park, and that's a huge thing, isn't it? Having your own ground, not so far from Goodison Park, and just being able to go down and support them must be a really big thing.
It's like a very tight community though down there, because obviously Goodison's only about 5 minutes away. So even if you were at the men's games and there was a women's one after, it's like literally a 5-minute walk down. You could go watch the women as well. So
have you seen things grow since the summer, since England won? Because obviously, for someone like me, obviously doing what I do, and we've had Sarah on in the past, and we've seen the game growing. And one of our sort of failings as a channel has been we've not maybe covered as much as we can. I blame Sarah for that because she's become far too successful. She used to go to the women's games and she used to film stuff herself, and now listen, it's absolutely fantastic. She works for them, and she works for, obviously does things for the men's game as well. So it's been difficult following, but I do try and keep my eye on, because it's Everton. They're Everton as far as I'm concerned. They're Everton. It's been great to watch the growth, and I think in the summer, obviously England played, all the games were on the BBC. The tournament was really exciting. I've actually watched the tournament. I think it was the World Cup in France a couple of years before, and I thought that was a fantastic tournament, because one thing about the women's game is maybe where it lacks obviously the tempo of the men's game. I love the physicality side of it. I love how two girls can just smash into each other and then both of them get up and get on with it.
It's not a problem for them.
And they don't backchat the referee, and everything just seems to be on a really good level. So that was on the TV a lot, and obviously we saw the final and the numbers were brilliant. So what do you think that will do for the women's game as a whole going forward, and attracting new people to watch Everton and the WSL?
It's going to be massive. Like, I was in the away end at Anfield for the derby, and that was sold out. That was packed. It was, I think, the noisiest atmosphere I've been in for the women's game. It was so good. And then last week with the Leicester first home game, obviously was postponed, and we went last week, and that was sold out for the first time ever. And there was people stood around the pitches, because you can get up close and personal. It's not like you sat so far away from the players, and there was so much noise. Like they all come over at the end, the players, and clapped everyone, and took pictures, and it was like a really good atmosphere. It was really
I like that side of it, because I am of a generation where when I was a kid, we'd go to Goodison to watch Everton reserves, and we'd see a real mix of younger players and some of the players who weren't getting into the first team. Football was very different then. You only had a couple of subs, and if you weren't on the bench, or even when you were on the bench, you'd play in the reserves with the younger players. And a lot of kids used to go, and you'd get to see these players really up close. And obviously it was different. Football was different then anyway, but you got a sense of like a more of a close-knit set of fans. People would only go and see the reserves and not even go and see the full. It was such a different time, and that's the kind of vibe I get out of the women's game. And you know, as you said, the first game was postponed. We went to West Ham, got beat 1-0, and then, which was unfortunate. I don't think we quite had all our players in by then. Some of the new signings. then you've just, as you just said there, went to Anfield for the Merseyside derby. Liverpool had got off to a great start. They'd beaten Chelsea 2-1, hadn't they, in the first game of the season, who obviously the champions. But that game at Anfield, I mean, I know Everton had played there a couple of years before, and I think had won that game as well when Liverpool were relegated. But that game, I was a little bit nervous about this game, funny enough. I was there because I was thinking, Everton have lost the first game, these are back. There seems to be, you know what Liverpool are like, men's, women's, they're very cocky.
Yeah.
You know, and to see that the away end sold out was fantastic. To see some, you know, people I know who do follow the women's game being there and getting that opportunity. Yeah. But to see such a dominant performance, that was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it was great. And there was there's a stigma around it now where obviously Liverpool, they've only just come up, they haven't won anything, they've obviously won the championship, but they haven't won anything in our league, and Sky Sports act like they've won the league every single season, and it was all about Liverpool. Obviously I know it was at Anfield and they've got to hype it up about being at Anfield, but we've won it. We've won it, the derby, quite a few times, a lot more than obviously what is portrayed in the media. But yeah, I feel like just because...
we got the win, and it was a big win, and could have been more, and obviously it was just a really perfect night, wasn't it? You know, and I think you're right, because the women's game as well as the men's game, it probably feels like it needs teams like Liverpool and what they bring. But they downplayed Everton a lot that night, and I think for Everton to get the win showed, I think it showed a lot of people what Everton are capable. And obviously the following week, like you said, Everton played their first home game, and off the back of that it was sold out, and to see it sold out shows, I know it's not a massive ground, but to see it showed to be sold out. And I had heard people saying, why isn't this game at Goodison Park? But I think it was good that it was actually at Walton Old Park, and you couldn't get a ticket. And all those people who've been at Anfield got to go and share that opportunity. And Everton obviously got a 1-0 late win, which obviously must have been fantastic as well.
Yeah, that was great. Obviously it come off Leicester's keeper, but...
Don't worry about that.
We're not going to worry about that one. But no, I think we were really strong in that game. We're really, really strong in defence. Yeah. And going forward, we are very good, but it's that we're lacking in quality in the finishing. Yeah. So I feel like we need to improve that. Obviously, we've brought players in this summer, lots of new players. Like we brought in a Dutch international forward, Katja Snoyjes. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
It's fine, don't worry.
Sorry about
that. Don't worry.
But she looks like she could be really, really good for us. And obviously, Gio, who we brought in off on loan, the Brazilian
from Arsenal.
She's phenomenal. Yeah. Jess Park. Yeah. She's just been called up for England for the first time.
Because there is an international break at the moment as well, so obviously we're not going to get to see Everton play for the next week or so, because there is an international break. But Jess Park obviously scored in the derby, fantastic goal at the Cop End. And she took it so well as well. I mean, I pray for that moment to happen in the Premier League. I pray for it one day, to see an Everton forward run through and do that. But obviously she is on loan, and I mean, you imagine she will go back to Man City, but Everton have just got to enjoy the year they've got with her, because she looks such a talent. And Everton have got to, you mentioned, last season was so turbulent. It was, there was stuff on the pitch, there was stuff off the pitch. They went through, I think, 3 managers. Yeah. I mean, we interviewed Willie Kirk, and he got sacked the following week, so I don't know if Baz was the case. I don't know. But it was such a traumatic, and we know there's different sponsorships and all kinds. Players have had to leave. Some really good players as well have had to leave, but they've brought a new manager in. He seems to be getting his own set of players in now, and as I said, it's been a really good start, and Everton can be a good side in this, because what I would say is that Everton have been around for a long time, ever since they used to be Liso, I think all those many years ago. They are part of the establishment of the women's game, and having their own ground and those kind of things, and they can be a real force. And although they seem a little bit behind Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United seem to be doing well, and obviously Manchester City have had a bit of a poor start, haven't they? But there's definitely room to grow, and I think if we can all get behind it a little bit, it could be a really good season. Yeah,
it really can. Like, obviously we've won these last 2 games, so we're on a winning streak now. I'm having that. But obviously not last season, but the season before, we got to the FA Cup final. But we lost, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could be like that again. We've got the quality of the players we have now could really help us.
Yeah. Is okay, we've mentioned Jess. Is there anyone else you would say would be someone to look out for? Someone maybe we're not talking about, or is there someone just so good that you should be talking about?
Gabby George.
Okay, she's been around for a while now.
She has been around for a while, but obviously she was last year's.
Jesse Lingard's cousin.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't do the dancing like he does, but she had a bad knee injury, didn't she, a couple of seasons ago?
She was out for.
She was very close, I think, at the time, being around for England.
Yeah.
So do you think she'll be someone who will stick around at Everton and become a long-term player?
Well, they've now got like a group of captains, obviously with Danielle Turner leaving for Aston Villa, and she's one of them, and I think she could be such a good leader for Everton. She's so strong in defence, she can attack, obviously going forward really well, and I just think she's a quality player, and should be really key for us this season. Brilliant.
And obviously another player I think who scored at Anfield as well, the third goal, Benison.
Yeah.
She obviously had a bit of... It was weird in the Euros because I think when we signed her, she was touted as being like a really big talent, but I don't think she got as much game time in the Euros.
No, she was brought on quite a lot.
I found that a little bit strange, but she started the season well. She scored the third goal at Anfield, and she's been given the number 10 shirt as well. She's like, she's the Anthony Gordon kind of player, but she could have a big season as well because I think there was a few people who were ahead of her, or it seemed like, last season, and now maybe they've left, and obviously we know Tony Duggan's pregnant, so she can't play this season, but she could, for me, I think she could be someone who has a really big season.
Yeah, she really could. She's obviously scored the derby, which was incredible to get the third goal, and I think she was credited for the goal at
Leicester. It was a goal, they're not taking that off her.
No, we're going to give her that one. But yeah, no, she was really good last season, obviously, but that was her first season with us, and I'm really hoping that she's going to come on a lot more this season and help us, especially in the attack.
Yeah, definitely. I think this could be a big season for her, and with the manager that's in now, we'll look after her. But it's just interesting to me. 2 out of 3 wins, won the last 2, and there was so much turnover in the summer. A lot of. You mentioned there people like Dan Turner left, Poppy Patterson went to Brighton. There seems to be a lot of upheaval, a lot of people left the club, but the people who've come in seem to have settled in. Sandy McCaver as well, the goalkeeper, she left to go to Manchester City, didn't she? So there seems to have been a lot of turnover of players, but they seem to have settled down really quickly.
Yeah, they really have. Like, we bought into the twins, the Holmgard sisters, and Karen Holmgard, she stayed with us while Sarah's gone out on loan.
Okay.
But Karen, she'd made her debut against Leicester, and she was incredible.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see more of her, because I think she's going to do so well for our team.
Brilliant. So who are Everton up against next?
We're up against Chelsea next.
Oh, thanks. Home. Thanks for that.
I know. Gutted. But we're up against Chelsea at home, Walton Hall Park, on the 16th of October.
So if you want tickets for that, you're probably going to have to be pretty quick, because the way the last one sold out, you're probably going to have to be pretty quick. So you'll be there, won't you?
Yeah.
You'll be there, and you'll come back and tell us all about that afterwards, won't you? Brilliant. There you go. Fantastic debut from Kira there, telling us all about Everton women's side. So don't forget, they're playing Chelsea next. It's a big game. Get down to Walton Hall Park and support them as they look for their 3rd win in a row. And we keep this positive start going for the men and the women this season. So if you've enjoyed watching the women's game over the summer or the start of the season, make sure you get down and check it out and support the Everton women's team. One other thing I noticed as well, by the way, in the club shop, they've started doing the women's shirts.
Yeah, they've just started doing it,
Brilliant stuff. There you go. Big thank you to Kira for coming in. We've seen a lot more of her. She was absolutely fantastic. You'll all agree. There you go. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want more great videos, join us over on Toffee TV Premier. The link is in the description and it'll be on the screen in a moment. See you later.